And we're back. Human Nuggets here with some more Risk of Rain Returns content for you. We're checking out the engineer's prototype laser turret, the big railgun he gets, which was like in the trailer for him. I was like, it's one of the things that made me most excited about this game. I have tested it out a bit though, and it unfortunately isn't that amazing. Although I did test it out with command on, so I may have been choosing the wrong items because I wanted to test what the scepter does to them to, you know, improve them. But I think all it does, from what I could tell, is make it so that you can stack two of them instead of just one. Which does not fix any of the weaknesses it seems to have. That's what it looks like. They do change color with which engineer skin you have on, so it's cool. And then big old blast, except it's not actually as big as it looks. Yeah, the part that seems weak for me is that it only goes on one tile. Like, it's not like it it looks like it'd cover, you know, 2 or 3 kind of vertical tiles to hit stuff, but it doesn't, which means it's a lot harder to use, unfortunately. There we go, there's the teleporter. Come on, Magma Worm. Yep. And it didn't manage to hit. Like, with a Magma Worm, I can see being able to line the whole thing up. And on easier difficulties, you definitely can one-shot the bosses. But I haven't been able to on Monsoon. At least not on stage 1. Like, I'm sure once you get overpowered, it will also be overpowered. Just because that's kind of how it works. You can see, like, it does kill itself. Dios do work with it, which was nice to see. But because Dios only brings you back with 40% health, you know, it's got to charge up again, and you're not going to heal back up in that, like, 8 seconds it takes to charge from down at 40%. So you just get a short little burst, because it actually ticks itself down, not just, like, kills itself. So that means that if it's been damaged by enemies, it seems to, you know, get to do less, which is a bit of a shame. And then, yeah, this... oh, that won't hit that. I think that... maybe it did. I think that died to a firework, though. Which, yeah, I think it'd be a lot nicer to use if you could either... if it did have extra vertical hitbox, or, say, if it had limited wall penetration. Maybe, like, if it hit a wall, it did, like, you know, less damage on the other side or something to make it a bit more balanced. But just as is... it just hits something, and that's it, from what I can tell. And I wouldn't normally grab this from there with this turret, because I'll just show you. Because it's charging the whole time, it counts as firing, so Bungus will not proc. You can't try and, you know, prolong its health, or get it to charge back up from Dios in that time. Which, yeah, again... I don't mind, like, if it wasn't going off, but to make it work nicer with Dios, I'd like it if it worked then. But I get that that's not really how the game mechanic works. It's just, I'm trying to find ways to make it, you know, more viable, because as it stands, I believe that the primary turret is just so much better. Like, it just got bullied there. Because it shares your health, I'm assuming. give it something nice to show it off on. That'll do, hopefully. And I hit the block, great. It also kind of showed off what I wanted it to, because it doesn't have blowback, in a sense, like... Oh, if I can avoid dying here, that'd be great. But yeah, so I think the hitbox for the beam starts around where the barrel breaks off there. So if they stand behind the turret, which is very easy for them to do, considering, you know, you can't place it in a wall, you have to place it against a wall. Yeah, it kind of just means that people will stand behind it and stop you from being able to shoot them. And it just, again, it's just more things that make the other turret better than this one, because the other one can turn around and look. This one will place down in whatever direction you are facing at the time, which makes me very happy that they added mouse aim. Because while it wasn't like necessarily problematic to do before, it's definitely a lot smoother with mouse aim. And like that, I know you can have like, what's it called, barbed wire and stuff to keep enemies away. You get Prophet's Cape and it's pretty good, because that gives you a few seconds of, you know, being able to not take damage. But for the most part, it doesn't hold up. And there we go, like, I wouldn't be able to attack now, because the blocks are there. Hopefully they disappear by the time it charges up. Yep. And nope, they place new blocks down. So like you can see, it's pretty good against the Colossal Titan and the Ancient Wisp, but for the most part, it's just not a great turret, because it's such a specific scenario you have to get in for it to be able to work. Like, I'd be able to place it up there, and like, it placing blocks wouldn't be a problem if I didn't have it right up against it like I did before. But just for the most part, it's like there's so many enemies there, I'd have to clear all them out first just for it to be viable. And yeah, it's just, I want to like it. It's such a cool looking turret. But I just can't get behind it in the current way it is. There we are. This will be able to take out however many golems are there, because nothing should interfere with it. See, there we, like, it's... in the scenarios where it works, it does its job perfectly fine. It's just so hard to get to that point. Also, the run it took me to unlock it was literally hours long. I was not getting these laser drones here to turn into a beam drone, or you can even just straight up find beam drones, and it was not happening. I had like the equivalent to a beam drone of all the others, so I had an attack drone, the bigger healing drone, the bigger rocket drone. Actually, I had 3 gilded attack drones. That's how long it took me to get this thing. And it's just like, what the fuck? Literally, what are the odds of that? So, like, I'd be getting it anyway, because I want to 100% this game. But if I looked into it and I saw what it was like in the current state, I probably just wouldn't bother until later on. Like, in that run, I would have, you know, given up long before the point I got to. See, like, what? They aggro it onto it as opposed to me as well, which is so annoying. I don't know if there's something I could do, like... With slower enemies, I still don't know, because I haven't gotten into that scenario where it's like, hey, if it's a slow guy, will they aggro onto me because I'm further away? So I pretty much just leave them there like that. It'll... Well, I want that chest. But if I was leaving, I'd just place it there. And you can see, yep. No damage backwards on that. Which, that one was like, I understand, but like, if it's on the turret, I get it's a laser turret, and it probably wouldn't have actual blowback, but if you just put like some vents on it, so even if it didn't do full damage, it just did something to stop enemies from just being standing at it, it'd be nice. I know no one on the dev team will ever see this, but it's just kind of trying to put the thought out there to anyone who watches this and is interested. Well, look, a second beam drone already on this stage. If I find a third one, I'm gonna be pissed. But then, like, you know, I'd also need to find the combining station. Which, that did take me... I'd run into so many of them. And then it just, yeah. Once I had 3, it took me forever to get back to that point. Turrets in general are already pretty weak against the Vagrants, just because, you know, they can't dodge its only attack. But this one, it's just... it's so squishy. See if I can get this off. Almost. Like, it's just... I really want to like it because it's such a cool looking thing. There we are, we at least got one of them. And then, yeah, even if we had a Dios there that has enough HP that we wouldn't have been able to take it out, I don't think. Because them respawning with low health, I get it. Like, they're not meant to come back, kind of thing. It's just because they inherit your own items. So I get it. I just, yeah. As I said before, I'm trying to make it seem more interesting. The only non-character specific challenge I have left as well is to drown 20 Warrels. Which I'm not playing the right character to do. Even if I had, like, boxing gloves and stuff, it'd still be kinda whack. And that's what I meant about leaving it behind as I went about my thing. Like, just running off. They happen to be on the right platform to be aggroed onto me. Like, if it was off cooldown, I'd place another one here. It's not gonna do much for me, it'll just, you know... It's not gonna save my ass like this, it'll just give them something to do, make me a bit of cash from enemies I'd otherwise have to stop and kill myself. So it's okay in that sense. And then, yeah... After I was saying how they were a pain to find before. Oh, it's all the way over. That's the thing I hate about the barracks stage. If it's this guy, it has to find an appropriate pit, and sometimes it'll be fucking ages away. And, yeah, even with me being ages away from it, they all just started aggroing onto it. It's just, it's the slower, like, it's a slower and more there we are. Yeah, I kind of saw that one coming. It's a slower and more methodical way of playing Engineer, but Like, I wouldn't mind that if the trade-off was worth it, which I personally don't see it as. So, if I was just playing it wrong, you know, you can always let me know. But as it is, I would just recommend sticking with the default turrets, because they can do pretty much everything this can. It just, you know, it takes them longer, but they can do so much more at the same time. Oh, yeah, that's kind of just like my 2 cents. Oh well, that's where we'll leave it for today. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.